Hello everybody, this is the Magic Man, the social and political prophet. I know some of you that are sports people, y'all know me as the Tennis Prophet on YouTube. This is a different channel. This is like my, I do speak, even though I'm a sports guy, I do speak out on social and political issues. This channel here, I think I've only done like 2 videos in the last 2 years. I think I spoke out on a couple issues, but on my tennis, those of you who are tennis fans or tennis players or sports players, you can check out my tennis channel where I'm the Tennis Prophet. I've probably done about 1,300 videos versus 2 with this one. But I do speak out, even though I am a sports guy, big time tennis guy. I can become the social, not just a tennis prophet, I can become the social and political prophet like I am now, because we need to speak out about this issue. But I do speak out about, I am highly politically and sociably aware of different issues, and definitely issues relevant to our black community, okay? Afro-American issues, okay? So let's get this video going, okay? Now I'm the social political prophet now. People, listen here. I'm going to start, and this is just for Afro-Americans. Other races can listen to this video and laugh about it, whatever, but I'm going to start a national holiday for Afro-Americans. It's going to be called Silly, yes, silly. I should say stupid, but I'm going to say silly. I like the word silly. Silly Afro-American History Day. And it's going to be, I'm going to celebrate it every October the 3rd, because 2 days ago was October the 3rd. Today is October 5th. So 2 days ago, that's when we Afro-Americans were so silly, that day, October 3rd. So that day, October 3rd, from now on, and I'm going to start celebrating it next year, it's going to be silly, yes, silly Afro-American History Day. Now, you may be saying, social political prophet Magic Man, why are you calling it silly Afro-American History Day? Okay, people, now I know all of you, well, most of you I assume know, but just in case someone doesn't know what the video is really about, it's about the Amber Geiger trial. Y'all know Amber Geiger is the Dallas police officer, the white Dallas police officer that shot, who says she accidentally walked into the wrong apartment. She lived above the black guy, Botham Jones, who lived below her. She says she got off work, accidentally drove on the wrong floor, and she went into the wrong apartment. She saw Botham Jones and shot him 2 times in the stomach. Boom, boom. Okay? So this whole video has to do with that trial. 2 days ago, October 3rd, Amber Geiger, she was found guilty of murder, and she was convicted, and she was sentenced to 10 years. And I think she gets parole. She's eligible for parole in like 5 years. Okay, so that's what the video is about. Now let me get back to this holiday. You might be saying, okay, Magic Man, what is the holiday about? What are you talking about? Yeah, what is this holiday about that I'm calling, and I'm going to celebrate it, whether you all celebrate it or not. I'm going to start it next year. It's called, I'm going to keep celebrating it. I'm going to keep celebrating this holiday until we Afro-Americans stop acting silly. So this holiday is called the Silly Afro-American History Day, October 3rd. That's when all this nonsense happened. Okay, so all this nonsense happened in the courthouse of the Amber Geiger trial. Okay, people, now so you may say, okay, Magic Man, what was so silly? What did Afro-Americans do so silly that day when Amber Geiger was convicted and sentenced to 10 years? What did Afro-Americans do that's so deserving of a silly Afro-American holiday. Okay, people, here we go. The first thing is, okay, people, I saw this just this morning. I think they showed it yesterday, but I saw it this morning. You know how after a trial is done, using the news media, they try to get those people on the jury who is willing to expose their identity. They show up on all the morning shows or evening shows, and they show. And the media asks them how did they come to their conclusion, or how did they conclude that someone is guilty or innocent. And it's always interesting to hear how people on the jury, fuss and fight and come to a conclusion and get a conviction or an acquittal. Okay, in this case, it's a conviction, a sentencing of 10 years. Okay, so there was one of the jury people was a black lady, young black lady, and the other one was a white male. Okay, now, so the black lady says, okay, she gave different reasons how they made their conclusion, or came to their conclusion that she was guilty of murder. But so the media person who was interviewing them said, well, the media person said, well, the prosecution wanted a conviction, a sentencing of 28 years. Okay, how do y'all agree to 10 years? So now listen to what this Afro-American, this is the lady, not the white guy. This is we Afro-Americans being silly. We being silly. That's why, like I said, October 3rd, from now on, the rest of my life, until we Afro-Americans stop being silly, I'm going to celebrate this day. I'm writing it on my calendar, called Silly Afro-American History Day. Now listen what this black lady said. Black lady, not the white guy. The black lady said, well, we couldn't give her 28 years. The reason we gave her 10 years, because we had to consider how Amber Geiger's family would feel. People, have you ever heard? I have never ever heard something that stupid in my life. I have never ever heard a jury say, when they are trying to determine if somebody committed whatever crime or however long they should be in jail, it should have to do with the person that have done the crime. You don't consider, listen, for example, if I took and murdered somebody, I do not believe that the jury is going to say, well, we're not going to put the Magic Man in jail for 20 years because his mama or his daddy or his sisters and brothers are going to be really sad, and we got to consider how it's going to affect them. This black lady, silly Afro-American, said she said one of the reasons why they came, one of the reasons, now listen, this is what she said. Now, I don't know if this is how she came to the conclusion. I don't know if the other jurors thought the same way. But she said the reason why we went with why she thought it should be 10 years instead of 28, because they were considering how Amber Geiger's family will feel. Man, listen, man, that is so silly. Both of Jones' stomach got blowed out. 2 bullets pumped into it. Amber Geiger, mistake or no mistake, walked into his room, shot him dead. And you talking about you don't want to give Amber Geiger more than 10 years because you are considering how her family would think. Her family ain't got nothing to do with this, okay? Listen, if you want to say I'm going to give Amber Geiger 10 years because I think she just made an innocent mistake, okay. And I think she did mention that. But the other reason, her family should have nothing to do. Sensitivity to how her family feels should have nothing to do with the sentencing. It should have nothing to do with how long Amber Geiger would get in jail. Silly. We silly Afro-Americans. Oh, that's one reason. Okay, let's move to the next one here. Okay, now, y'all know the bailiff the person who, the person who usually brings stuff from the judge to the lawyers, they said the bailiff, okay, she was a black lady. Experts around the world, white experts, black experts, green experts, Chinese experts, Russian experts, they say they have never seen nothing like this. The bailiff comes down and she rubs through and tries to straighten out and comforting Amber Geiger. People, listen to me, people. Y'all listen to me. Listen to what I'm saying. People in law, news people. I was listening to all the stations. News people, anchormen say they have never seen a bailiff comfort and straighten out the hair of a defendant, especially a defendant who's convicted of murder, who's on trial for murder. Silly Afro-Americans. This black bailiff, this is black, she's black. This is crazy, people. People said they have never, ever seen anything like this in any courthouse where the bailiff comes down and even shouldn't even be touching a defendant, okay? Especially a defendant convicted of murder. So we silly Afro-Americans, and I bet you this here. I bet you, think of all the black women and black men that's been convicted of crimes. Maybe they did it, maybe they didn't do it, maybe it was intentional, maybe it was not intentional. I bet you that black bailiff never comforted them. I bet you. See, we silly Afro-Americans. I'ma celebrate the holiday. I'm telling y'all may not celebrate October 3rd next year. I'ma celebrate it. And you know what? I'ma go out on October 3rd next year on silly Afro-American History Day. Yeah, I'ma go out, I'ma celebrate, I'ma get me a hot date, fine lady. We gonna go out to restaurant, have a couple steak, something, celebrate, maybe go catch a movie. Yeah, we gonna celebrate, maybe have a barbecue out in the park, go down to the beach, whatever. I'ma celebrate that day until we silly Afro-Americans stop being silly. Okay? Now, third reason. People, listen here. Once again, the same way I just said, people never saw the bailiff come down and comfort a defendant, especially a defendant who's been convicted of murder. People, law experts, media people who's covered, journalists who's covered thousands of trials, who's lived in the courthouse during many court cases, murder trials, child molestation trials. They said they have never seen where the judge, who is a black lady, we silly Afro-Americans, oh my God, the black lady, the judge, after the conviction and sentencing has been done, the judge comes down from her podium and hugs the defendant. She hugs this white blonde lady, Amber Geiger. People, listen, white experts, black law experts, experts of all races, of all cultures say they have never seen nothing like this in their life. That has never happened, that a judge has come down and hugged somebody, especially a defendant who was convicted of murder, but a defendant, period. See there? We silly Afro-Americans, and she's Afro-American. And you know what I bet? I bet you she's never, think of all the black people, all the black men that's being convicted of murder, intentionally or intentionally, that's being convicted of going to jail for 20 years, maybe for just the police finding a small gram of drugs in their car. And think of the ladies too, black women that have been convicted of murder. I bet you that judge, when she overlooked those trials of those black people, I bet she didn't come down and hug those black women, and I bet she didn't come down and hug those black men that was convicted of whatever crimes, like she hugged this white blonde cop named Amber Geiger. See, we silly Afro-Americans, and this was not a white judge, it was a black judge. Silly Afro-Americans. Now people, I didn't see this, but I heard this, and I've heard it from different media people too. Somebody said, but I hope this ain't true. Somebody said that Botham Jones' father said that he would be friends with Amber Geiger. Man, listen, I'll tell you, I don't know what's going on, man. We see, listen. The one thing about this, I'm finna get to the last reason why this is really gonna be, the next reason is really gonna be why this is gonna be silly Afro-American History Day, October 3rd next year. But somebody said that the father whose son's belly was blown out by Amber Geiger, and let me say something, people. Yeah, Amber Geiger was in there crying, and people's talking about she's showing remorse. No, she ain't. Listen, people, she's crying because she's sorry that this messed up her life. She ain't really repenting and saying, you know what, I was wrong. I was wrong that I shot this guy. I was in the wrong. I shouldn't have pulled that trigger. No. This was totally wrong. And she didn't come out and really tell what really happened. Okay? So, but what she was crying about is that she messed up her life. But let's get back to we silly Afro-Americans. Yeah, I heard that Botham John's father said he could be friends. He could be friends with Amber Geiger. Only we silly Afro-Americans were taught that way. I bet you if it was the opposite, I bet you if he blew out Amber Geiger's son's belly 2 times, I bet she wouldn't want to be friends with him, okay? All right, now let's get to the last reason. This is the main reason, man. Well, I'm gonna really celebrate this holiday. Woo! Silly Afro-American History Holiday. October 3rd, buddy. I can't wait till next year, 2020. I'm gonna celebrate that day. Okay, everybody know about Botham Jones' brother who got on the stand. He said he's forgiving, Amber Geiger. Okay, people. Okay, I was going to do a separate video saying, I don't think he really understands what forgiveness means. That forgiveness, you don't necessarily have to hug somebody. Forgiveness is more about the inner self, that you let go of the anger that you have against a person, the anger, the hate. And you don't necessarily have to go hug somebody. Not necessarily. But you know what? I don't really have a problem with the word, him saying he's going to forgive. That's not why I'm making silly Afro-American History Day. But people, listen what he said. He said not only does he want to forgive her, like I said, okay, forgive. Okay, if you want to forgive, forgive. He said that she should not, he said that he doesn't even want her to go to jail. Silly, 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 silly Afro-American History Day. People, listen. He talks about, everybody's saying he's a Christian. People, one thing I can tell you, the Bible speaks about accountability. Yeah, you can forgive somebody, but even Martin Luther King, he will forgive Amber Geiger, but he gonna say justice needs to be served. Silly, silly. This brother talking about she should not even have to serve any time. People, that's not even biblical. I don't know what Bible he's reading. People, it's like a strong parent. A strong parent loves their child. So, but if the child does something wrong, the parent may say, I'm not mad at you anymore. I love you. Come have dinner. Let's sit down. But I'm going to ground you. I'm going to punish you for a couple of days for what you have done. You need to take responsibility, accountability. But this Afro-American, okay, he's saying that this woman who shot his brother twice, killed his brother in cold blood, shouldn't have to do any time? Only we silly Afro-Americans would say something that stupid. No other race would say something that stupid, okay? Now, I probably shouldn't go here, but I'm going to go here anyway. Might as well. I already said all this. People, listen. He asked the judge to hug the defendant, Amber Geiger. People, once again, people, all experts say they have never seen this before, where a family member who's talking to the defendant about what the defendant did, murder, whatever the crime is, and telling the defendant what tragic drama that the defendant has caused in their family's lives because of the murder that he or she has done. In this case, is Amber Geiger. People, listen. Botham John's brother asked, everybody know this, asked the judge, Botham John's brother, who's black, Afro-American, silly Afro-American, asked the judge, silly Afro-American, if he can go hug the defendant. People, even all experts said that's never ever happened before. Especially because one reason why they don't do that, because some family members may fake like they want to go over there and hug, and they may shoot or stab the person. Because remember, that defendant is the one that shot your family member, that shot his brother. So usually the judge don't even allow that. But this black judge allowed the Botham John's brother to go over there and hug Amber Geiger. Man, listen, but people, what was really funny is this here. Is that when he asked the judge, he said, please, judge, can I go give her a hug? But he said, please. Man, listen, he ran to hug that woman like, man, when they was hugging, it looked like they were like lovers almost. I was like, my God. Now this is what I wondered. I wondered this right here. I just wonder about this here. I wonder if he would have hugged, if Amber Geiger would have been, well, listen, I ain't gonna say, let me be careful how I say this right here. I just wonder if I told him, hey man, if I told Botham John's brother, if I said, you know what, man, hey, since you want to hug Amber Geiger, and you don't think she should do any time, well, why don't we go around the nation and go to all as many trials as we can go, where black people are being tried for murder, maybe for an accident where they accidentally shot somebody. Will you be down for getting up and advocating that they not, and hugging them and advocating that they not do any time, the way you saying Amber Geiger shouldn't do any time for killing your brother? Man, listen, only we silly, and I'm saying we, I'm including we, because I'm part of the black community. I love us black folks. I'm proud to be black. I love being black. I've totally accepted being black. But only we black folks, we do something that silly. Only we black folks. I'm serious. But I just told y'all all the stuff that happened, that all those 3 or 4 blacks did, that I called out in this video. People saying that's never, ever happened before. And like I said before, the judge has never, ever had that kind of sympathy in the courthouse for black people, not even for her own people. And that bailiff that I said had never done that for a black lady that was on trial. So like I said before, I'm going to celebrate. I'm declaring today that October 3rd It's going to be silly Afro-American History Day until we Afro-Americans stop being silly, and get our act together. Okay, people? That's it. Social. I'm the magic man, the social and political prophet. Have a good one.